you go by the stage name of Purple Squirrel when you're doing art?
That's my speaking moniker.
All right, show us what you're doing.
Okay, today on Devoted to Mentoring, we're showing you how we created this art. It was a commission piece. We had it professionally framed. These are samples from Miami International Airport of the different reflective metals that we could put on signs and other areas of the building. Actually, we did this at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International. So a lot of people always say, wow, that's so cool. Can I get a piece? Can I commission it? Well, can you wait a year? What do you mean a year? Oh, that's because, you know, I gotta find the stuff first. So these are washers that I found in different locations. We have this reflective vinyl here going in to add a touch of interest.
Yeah, we had a piece that was messed up, so
yeah,
a little repair job.
And art is a series of happy accidents. So that little accident caused me to find another piece, which I accidentally found, and it matches this piece, which is kind of cool. We'll see what we do with that one. So these are the squares samples that I told you. They actually come in big sheets. You can put it in any application. And then these are just simple metal washers that the wire comes from Miami International Airport. In the telephone rooms, we had to do a lot of demolition. And I sit there and just wrap it, and cut it. And I try to make sure it's nice and even. This forms the top part of this little flower looking thing. And then I'm using this Gorilla Glue for the first time. I usually use a product called E6000, which is, this one says that it's similar to E6000. So let's see if it works. So just putting the final touches here. There is a right side and a wrong side. That's the wrong because the wire. So that's where I put the glue.
How long does it take you to make one of those?
Oh man, I do this watching TV. It takes me less than 5 minutes.
It's therapeutic?
It's super therapeutic. It's like knitting.
And where did all the wire come from, Gino?
The wire comes from Miami International Airport.
It's your tax dollars at work.
Tax dollars at work. This is the demolition of the B to D concourses at MIA.
Which was what, 15 years ago?
That project started in 2006 and finished like 2011. So yeah, 12 years ago, we finished. But I've had this, and what happens is when you set your mind out to the world, you know, that law of attraction, that I love wire, and I make little trees with the wire, and I do the wire here. So the wire, I don't have to look for it anymore. The wire finds me. The example is one day 2 electricians are in one of the low voltage rooms and they're cutting out wire, and I go, hey, look what I make with the wire. And I show them a little tree that I make. The next day, outside my door of my office, I found a whole bunch of wire wrapped around the door handle. So the wire finds me now. It's pretty cool, and now I just got glue everywhere. We're putting this last touch here. If you can see this is the little signature that I make.
I'm gonna zoom in on the little signature.
And I use just one strand of wire. It's about 4 to 5 inches long. And I form my initials in a continuous loop. So it's Eugenio Jaramillo.
Super cool.
We're gonna do a couple more pieces over there, put the final touches, and we'll come back to you when we hang them. Cool?
Very good. Last piece is going on now. We'll let it dry and we'll hang it in a minute.
Yeah. So today on Devoted to Mentoring, we're making art. And specifically, I am signing my art. I am the creator of Found Object Art. Today we're going to put this little signature on another piece of work, but here's how it starts. You get a piece of wire. I like to match the wire to the art. And this piece of art is the washers that are wrapped in wire. 2 layers. This is like a piece of broken jewelry. So are these, the little leaves, if you will, or the parts of the flower. This is that high-vis reflective vinyl. Then this was a sample of a wall panel. And in the back, I collected all these zippered pulls from the airport as well. And this is how it's going to be hung.
Where'd you find the zipper pulls at?
They're underneath the baggage belts. we had to demo all the baggage belts from B to D. And there was a ton of them. There's also these x-ray machines in Concourse A. And that's where I first saw them. So when they removed those machines, I saw a big pile full of dust and everything. So I told, actually my nephew was working for me at the time. I said, hey, Michael, pick that up. And okay, he picked it up, put it in a bucket, and I had a giant cookie can full of those things. I didn't know what I was gonna do with them. I did know first clean them, get them nice and clean, figure out which ones are broken or not, and sort them by the type, you know, Air Canada, American Airlines, and all these
So this
brands.
is stuff that you normally would have thrown in the trash.
It would have been in the
but
trash.
You collected it.
Yes.
And you said, I'm gonna do something with this one day.
Exactly.
All right, so show us how you make the signature.
Well, the first deal is we start out with a piece of wire about 4 inches. You could adjust a little bit. My initials are EJ. The first thing I do is I twist this top part, and I got my little pliers here to help me. And then I make the middle of the E with my hand. It's much easier. And you can already start to see, you're gonna see it backwards there, but that's the beginning of the E. And that's the bottom of the E. And then I get the top of the J, make it a nice crisp fold.
So why does an artist sign his pieces?
To legitimize them, I dealt with many artists when I had my gallery, and some artists do not sign their work until they sell it, so that it doesn't get out into the stratosphere that somebody would rip off their work or something. So it's a way of protecting your work by signing it and also dating it. I really should date these in the back. Maybe I'll do it with pencil or pen or a Sharpie.
Okay, show me the piece. So that's the signature there.
This is the signature. It's a continuous EJ.
Okay, flip it around the other way because it's backwards.
Oh, okay. I thought it would be backwards the other way.
Cool.
Yeah. So this is going to get a little bit of. First, I like to flatten it, get it nice and flat. Now I have to notice which is the top, the bottom, and I always sign the bottom right-hand corner. And I take a little bit of Elmer's. It doesn't take much, and don't want to put a lot because then you can see it. This wire is
just enough for it to stick and hold in place.
Yeah, this wire is very, very light, so it's not like you're carrying a big load. And it doesn't matter if it's like at an angle or whatever. This is my artistic license that my client has given me to do what I think is artistically correct. We'll let that dry and we'll hang it up, and we're going to do another one here in a minute.
Cool. All right, Gino, what are you doing now?
I am signing my work. Brent had a curiosity about why do artists sign their work, and it's to protect their work. I dealt with many artists when I had my gallery, and one man did not sign his work until it was sold, and it's a kind of a protection, like a copyright thing, and he would sign it and date it once it was sold. So that's why we sign it.
It's really cool, man. So tell us about the other pieces that we find in this art here.
Yeah, and you're looking at it upside down right now, obviously. The product that's on here, the background is a super heavy tile. It's a ceramic tile. The tiles at the chiller plant at MIA were falling, and this was an emergency repair order, and this was the sample that we gave to the owner and architect to ensure that this is what they wanted. And if you look at the top band of that chill water plant at MIA as you come in through Central Boulevard, this is that tile. So I saved a tile. I thought it was really beautiful, the color, the sheen.
How old do you think that tile is? 15 years?
A little bit less, probably 11, 10 years old at least. And that's when I got it, so who knows when it was manufactured. And then you'll see these little samples here. There are various samples of different finishes that get put on to projects. So let's start with these squares. This is like, I forget what it's called. I think it's soapstone, something very similar. This you can tell is an acrylic. This is vinyl composition tile. So is this one. A couple pieces of that, some thicker stuff that might be used, say, in countertops or backsplashes. This is the same one. And then my ubiquitous wire and washers are in here. And I purposely went with the blue and white theme because everything was blue and white. And you can see where patterns get naturally made when I do the folding, the sticking of the wire inside and pulling it in and out. This pattern was done on purpose. So was this one. When this hole gets a little small, it's hard for me to put the wire through. And then here's the last one, all blue. And I like sometimes when it's crooked, when the wire, the washer is crooked. I got
like
this,
it's been deformed.
Yeah, I got these cutouts. You know how electricians do cutouts of their panels? And it made these donuts, and they were misshapen, and I like that very much. Kind of gives me more of a natural feel.
Very cool. Yeah, and I like the difference between the ceramics, some of the ceramics and the glasses and the metals, and it's all the different products that we use.
It's not only the colors, it's the textures.
Yeah.
That artists work
I'm
with.
going to zoom into it just a little bit so they can see.
Okay.
See some of the, I mean, just really the cool different tones of materials. The signature that you put there in the corner, that is just, I mean, it just, everything is just matching incredibly.
I'm glad you love it, Brent.
Really cool. Thanks, Gino.
All right.